Hey everyone, and welcome to the video. I'm going to be showing you how to make just a simple flower, again with tiara twist, and we're going to be placing it up on the tiara band again. This is another very simple tutorial that I'm doing, mostly just because of my health. So I'm going to be doing, I've done this one here. I used a bigger bead. This one here is about 60mm wide, and as you can see, it sits in front. I'll turn it to the side to make it clear. It's actually sitting in front of the other beads here. Now generally you'd want it in the middle, but I was just practicing with this one. So for a 16mm and it's slightly protruding, I ended up using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beads. But again, the size of the beads completely will change how many you use. So over here I have just been playing around. I decided to use a smaller bead. This is an 8mm, and the same rondelles I'm using, I think last time we discovered they were 8x6 if I remember. So to have it in the middle, it ended up with 6 around it. Generally with flower patterns you want to have an odd number of leaves, so I could have just used 5, but I decided I wanted it to actually sit in the middle rather than be slightly protruding like it has done this time here. But I'll probably end up showing you both options. So what I'm going to do is I've got 30cm now. I don't think I mentioned it in the last video because I planned on doing more, but I couldn't sit up very long, and well, my health has yet to improve by any particular amount. It's got a little bit better. So what I do now is I take 30cm and I work backwards, so you guys will see at the end how much I've used. Just means I'm using less energy to do each tutorial. I'm not having to do it 3 and 4 times to figure it out. I can just do the one time, and then you guys can find out the information at the end. So first thing you do is put on the beads that will be the leaves. And you want to go to the middle point now. It's not hugely important when you're threading them on, but obviously you don't want them coming off the other side. Okay, so there we have our beads. I'm trying out a new setup in case you can't tell. I'm actually filming on my phone. I've got different lighting. I've got a little desk, so I'm actually sat in my bed right now doing this. So it's going to make my life a little easier in the long run, hopefully. So this is what we're doing. We're putting the beads into a circle. Now what I then do is go through one. You can do it on one side or you can do it on both. I'm just going to do it on one. Don't need to do it excessively on that one because it was a larger bead. I did do it on both sides because of the weight, but I'm only using a thinner one here. You also want to make sure you can actually go through twice, so the drill hole on the inside is important. Okay, and I want to try and get this near the middle again, so I'm going to just manipulate the wire so that we've got roughly the same on each side, which I really don't right now. So a bit more on that side, and that's probably about the same now. So there we have it. It doesn't need to be exactly the same, just close. So because obviously we're going to twist it here at the end to have it stand up, so we want to make sure that's like that. And you just want to pull this tight like this. And we're going to use one of the sides, so the one that's slightly longer, and we're going to actually go across with that side, and we're going to thread on the bead that's going to be in the middle. Let it go down, and we're going to sit this in the middle, so we're just going to maneuver these a little bit like that. Now I could actually get away with putting another bead on, and I think I may do that. Yeah, so when it was sat, you saw it when it was sat here, 6 was enough, but now that I've actually threaded them on, another bead would be useful, so that's what I'm going to do. It's another good thing about, jewellery making is that until you intentionally fix things in place, you've got that little bit of leeway, which is also why I like to do it this way, so pull it again like this, and then the side, there's always one side that's slightly longer, so it's the side you use to thread the other bead on if it's not running away from you. Put it through like that. Okay, and then I'm going to go through the middle like this, let it sit there. Now again, it's going to keep trying to loosen up, it's just what it's going to do, so you just kind of need to keep, obviously if you have dexterity it's going to be difficult, but just try and keep your strength in place. So I'm going to do it like this, and what I'm going to do is, this is over here, and I want, whereas with this one we decided to put that in the middle, when we're doing the flower we will try and get them in the same place, closer, depending on how you want it to sit. So for me, if I go through here, I'm going to be able to twist here, and then the flower is going to sit upright, so that's what I'm going to do. Again, you can put it in, you know, you can go directly across and do that way. It's not going to make a huge difference, it's just the way I like to do it. So again, and now I'm going to need to just fix everything in place. At this point you can still make changes because we haven't fixed it yet. Literally the next step is where we fix it. I apologise if the camera's shaking too much. Again, new setup in my bed, so, but it's the only way I'm going to be able to film because of my health, so let me know if this is good enough, guys. Comment down below, I'm sure you will, you're all good at that. Yeah, so this is now the flower, and then same way we did with the tiara twist before, going to hold it and then just twist it. Now I always do a couple right there at the beginning, tight to whatever I'm doing. I did the same with that, just a single bead, and I'm going to do it again with a flower. It just helps it stay in place because we're going to have this stand up, so obviously for you guys to see it standing up I need to do it like that, but when it actually stands up it'll be standing up like this, so I need to be able for it to stand up straight without bending at an angle. So that just gives it that little bit of extra sturdiness to make sure that I've done it there. And then after that I don't have to be quite so, oh, make sure you're twisting it the right way. After, you know, those first few twists at the top you don't need to be quite so intense with it, and then however far, you know, you want it to stand up. If you want it to stand up the full side 5 centimeters you can, but as I mentioned, well, I don't know if it did end up in the final edit, I was a little bit out of it, like I say, that day, so you may not want the flowers to stand up, you know, completely all the way up. I think I'm just going to end it there. So how many centimeters is that? I'm wanting to go for 3, so oh, pretty much 3 exactly. That was fortunate. So 3 centimeters of wire twisting. Does anyone else find that when you've been doing wire work for so long, you can kind of look at it and be like, that's probably around that amount? Probably not just me, I'm guessing a few others if you've got to that point, but I've noticed that I do that a lot now. So these have kind of been, I had a lot of stuff kind of on top and they ended up like this, so I'm just fixing them. And I'm going to put this here. Now you could keep twisting so that it is, you know, they're twisted around the bottom. I don't really bother with that personally. So I'm going to hold it here, and in the same way we did previously, I'm just then going to wrap it around. Now as you've just seen, I can still move these along even once they're crimped in place. The only real way to stop it, if you want it to sit in an exact position, is to glue it using E6000 glue. I personally don't do that until nearly the very end when I've done pretty much the entire tiara, and the simple reason for that is that I want to have the option to change things at last minute. I might decide to wrap beads along the band, or, you know, I just like to make changes throughout. I'm very fluid in my jewellery making. It's just what works for me. And again, we're going to get it as close to here, and I always sort of pull it as much as I can, then I snip, Then I go back in with a pair of flat nose pliers. These are nylon coated but still flat on the inside, and crimp that down, squeeze, whatever fancy term you want to use. Squeeze isn't a fancy term, I'm being sarcastic for those that don't know my humour. So here we have it. That's, oh sorry guys, not meaning to keep hitting that, but it's kind of difficult with the angle. So yeah, that's the flowers. I'll just bend that over so you can see it on camera. So yeah, we've got the two there, we've got two flowers. I did say I'd show you that version as well, so I'll do that. So with the trimmings that I took off on the end of this one, it was 2 centimeters either side, which is 4 centimeters obviously together. So that meant when I did that one, I took 26 centimeters at the original point. That's what I was trying to say before about working backwards rather than, you know, doing it 4 and 5 times, because I already know the techniques. Obviously I don't really think about the exact amount I use. You kind of get to that point when you've been doing it for a while, you don't really measure, but I know that a lot of people want to know, you know, exactly how much I use, exactly the sizes, so I'm trying to accommodate that now in my jewellery making. So we're going to do another flower where we're going to put the bead in front. So I'm going to take the same 30 centimeters myself again, but I will insert how much I actually used in the graphics. So I'm going to do the exact same what I did here. I'm going to use that same bead because I've got a few in my little department here. So these are a rutilated quartz, and then I've just got some glass beads here that are a bit like the Swarovski, but they're obviously a cheaper version, which personally I prefer because you really can't tell much of a difference because they still sparkle in the same way. The only difference is the lead count. Swarovski, however you say it, they've got a patent on their technique, so no one can exactly copy it, but unless you are, you know, well versed in beads and stuff like that, you're not really going to know. Like any average person isn't really going to know the difference. They're just going to see sparkly shininess inside of a bead and be like, oh, are those, because that's just the name people associate with them. That's something you can just be aware of, guys, because I know some people are funny about ones that come from China because like, oh, they've got lead in them, and I'm like, yeah, that's just the technique, like the Swarovski ones do as well. It's just the ratio of glass to lead. So for this one I used 7 beads, which ended up being the same amount there for putting that in the middle. So that's 4. Again, thread it on. We're going to go to the middle. And then keep counting, because if you're like me, forget literally the second that you do something else. Ugh, brain fog. How is everyone surviving in this heat? Anyone else having issues with it, like this little lamb here, aka myself, because I'm calling myself a little lamb apparently. I'm going crazy with the heat. So yeah, my health's been bad, but I'm still trying to get better. And then we've had a family, I don't really know quite how to call it, basically my stepfather is in hospital currently due to, he had a heart attack. So that's why I'm jewellery making right now. It's just something to focus on rather than that, because obviously there's nothing I can do about the situation, and I'm nowhere near well enough to go and be involved and be of any help, because obviously, unfortunately, due to my issues, me being there would probably cause more problems than solutions. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but yeah, it's not fun. This week's been, well, that was just yesterday, but earlier on in the week we had the issues of thinking he'd had a minor one, and then yeah, so finally I'm jewellery making to distract myself today, but also because now I really want to, I've always wanted to take this channel seriously, but I'm so close to 1,000, well, I'm at 600, nearly 700 subscribers. I'm like, right, Kayleigh, come on, get on this, because this is something you can do, and then if you could ever, you know, get money from this and turn it into a job, then you'll be able to support your family and look after your family, and then that'll help your mum and your stepdad and your siblings, and, you know, long-term goals. Try to do as much as I can within what I have, and oh, Just realised I've got eczema on the back of my hand. It's not pretty. Oh, it's not showing up on camera. That's good. Yeah, so it's been a bit of a week in this house, I have to say. Me with my ill health. My ill health has been like this for a good few years, but I've been in what's called a relapse for the past 2.5 months now. Since May. So, oh god, it's nearly 3 months then, isn't it? Oh god, time. I tell you, it's not a thing when you're disabled and ill. I'm sure some of you guys out there are aware of that if you have a chronic illness yourself. So yeah, anyway, so that's what I'm jewellery making today, specifically just as a way of trying to keep myself distracted. So like I said before, when I was doing this one, I only went through one of them and then went straight over just to tighten it. Now because this is a heavier bead, I'm going to do a little bit more. So I'm going to try and get this close to the middle. And then on the other side, I'm going to bring it through these two as well. So move that apart. I don't want the wire getting caught on itself. So then it's basically going to be the opposite side to the other one. It's all just about creating strength within the wire. It could still survive even if I hadn't done this, honestly, but I just personally like to build as much strength in as I can. Now this side is slightly longer, so this is the side that I'm going to thread the bead onto. What about you guys though? I hope you're all okay in the heat. I know that the UK, I live in the UK for those that don't know, isn't really accustomed to this heat. Like I live up in Stirling in Scotland, and honestly, like I didn't even think Scotland ever got these temperatures ever. But yeah, it's been crazy. But I know like in America it's been pretty warm, and the rest of the UK, and well, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're doing okay with whatever weather you've got going on really. I can't even see the drill hole. There it is. Okay, right. And whereas before we moved the beads so that they sat around it, we're not even going to bother with that. We're just literally going to put this in the middle. Tighten. And then try to decide how I'm going to do this, because if I do it literally like that, then it's going to sit pretty well, but on this one I went back through. Oh, decisions, how am I going to play this? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change how I went through the beads up here. That bead just completely ran away. So I'm going to change how I did this. Instead of going through two, I'm going to go through one. Then I'm going to do this off camera because you saw me put it through the drill hole before, but at that angle I really can't see. Okay, so I've put it back through here. Then I'm going to put it across, and I'm going to go through this bead here and bring them together like that. So I'm just going to keep manipulating the wire because I don't want it to get stuck at any point, which it will do. Okay, and then pull this wire as well. So I'm just manipulating the wire, pulling it together. And then just moving these around a bit so that you can see that it's a flower like this, and then like I've done every other time, I'm going to put my fingers between the wire here and then twist so that it's strong there in particular. You see? The difference obviously being that this is now sitting in front. So yeah, that's how you do it. And then simple twists, and then again 3 centimeters or however how you want it, and then twist it around, and then however many twists you want to do. I always tend to do at least 3. That just makes me feel comfortable. So that's 2, and then this is my 3rd one, and then again I take some pliers and crimp, take a pair of flush cutters, get in, pull it as much as I can, cut, okay, and then for the sake of checking, how much do I have here at the end? 4, and 3, so that was 7 centimeters less that time, so that's 23 centimeters I used that time, so there was 3 centimeters different, which seems odd. Oh, I twisted that one a lot tighter there, that's why. Again, I've mentioned that in the other video, like depending on how tightly you twist and the way you do it will completely alter the amount of wire that you end up using. So, you know, for safety, just cut off 30 centimeters and then work backwards. But if you want to, you know, exact amount of wire that I've used, that's how much I use. Personally, I always like a little bit more wire. I always say this, like a little bit of leverage so that I can pull it easily. Like if I'd literally only just done, you know, the 23 centimeters, that would have been really difficult to make that 3rd wrap. So I would have had, you know, at least 2 extra centimeters on each side. So I would have had, what's that, 4 more, 27. So I would have had at least 27 centimeters to do that, regardless, just what's comfortable for me. Yeah, so that's it. That's your flowers as tiara twists. And next time I'm going to show you how to do trees out of these wires. If you've enjoyed this video, guys, please give it a thumbs up. Leave any comments you have down below. Anything you want to see. Like I say, I really do want to try and get this channel to 1,000 subscribers, and you know, try and make my life, not just my life, better, but other people's in my family's as well. So yeah, if you could hit that subscribe button, there's a notification button next to it as well. Thumbs up. What else is that? Oh, I haven't really been in the Facebook group recently. Sorry about that. Honestly, I haven't even been near Facebook recently. What's the new up and coming social media site? Tell me. I love Instagram myself, but let me know what you guys obsessed with at the moment. I might check it out. Otherwise, yep, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for giving me your time and energy, and I hope to see you all again soon. Alright guys, love you. Bye.